What's up, everyone? Welcome to Mogul Talk.
My name is Lachlan Renfro, and this is Roger Nichols.
And we're just going to kind of talk about our lives. We normally share really good conversations. So I'll talk about how this actually started a little bit. I think that's a good way to start this out.
Yeah, definitely kind of origin story almost.
Yeah. So otherwise this would just be kind of random.
Yeah, you're right.
Basically what happened was, so Lachlan's my resident. If you don't know, if you haven't watched our other video that we just posted recently, that you should definitely check out. I don't know which one's going to come out first.
I have no idea at this point. I'll just check them all out. They're all going to be good. Let's really hear.
And so Lachlan's a resident of mine. This is my third year being an RA. He's going to be an RA next year, which is going to be awesome. And every Friday we just hang out and have really good conversations. And we're both building our own personal brands. And so we made the decision that it just makes sense for us to start documenting this.
Mm-hmm, totally.
Because a lot of these conversations would be valuable for other people, right?
Absolutely. And I actually got that especially from you and I think you got it from Gary Vaynerchuk especially, but it was along the lines of basically this idea of, because I was like, where do I really start with a personal brand? Because I knew I needed to build one for any business and just for me personally, for the future. It's kind of like, where do I start with this? Like, what kind of content am I posting? And then he had the idea of just document. Don't think about creating per se. You just want to be focusing on documenting. So that's where really all this kind of started taking off. Like, I started posting my Instagram stories, posting more to Instagram, not for the sake of anything that was like particularly like, whoa, that's really, really cool, you know, like people who post once every 6 months. But the goal is just, all right, what am I up to today? Documenting that, you know, making videos every single day, trying to get more comfortable with that. And so that's, I think, where a huge part of this was born. So that's kind of, from my side, I guess, the easiest way. So
yeah, man, that was huge for me, and that's, listening to Gary about document versus create is kind of what pushed me over the edge to start filming my own things as well.
Definitely.
And then I found after just kind of filming general, like, here's what my day is like, then other content ideas just kind of started to come in. And then I was just sort of figuring it out from there.
Yeah, totally. I think that's just really how it is, especially, like, I mean, talking, just what is the launch into it, talking kind of the past couple weeks. For me, I've had, like, a really interesting past couple weeks where it's been a really remarkable period of growth for me. Who I was 3 weeks ago in terms of like what I was doing on a daily basis and kind of what I thought I was going to go towards, it's really changed a lot. Actually, almost not quite 180 degrees, you know, but like pretty damn close to it. So for me, kind of coming up with new stuff, I'm like, oh, you know what, like, I think I want to take it in this direction and see where that can go. That's been a huge element of it, and you know, something that's just I'm super excited about, super nervous about, and kind of confused about too. Here's a brand new place, just got new stuff to keep pumping out. So yeah.
That's tough, right? Like I have the same sort of thing where it's nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah.
To like put yourself out there.
Oh totally. I mean, especially like, as interesting kind of about me, like, I've never been comfortable with putting myself on social media. Like, I think to this day my profile picture is like the only picture of life that was taken of me. It was taken like freaking like 2.5 years ago at least. Like, which is hilarious, especially considering now it's like a fitness brand, is like what it's centered around. And like in that picture I'm like 165 tops, if that. So like,
what are you at now?
Like over 200 roughly. So it's like, it's actually like really hilarious when you think of it that way, but like kind of getting into that habit and kind of breaking those insecurities down and kind of trying new things, especially just putting yourself out there in all of the ways that you possibly can. You know, you get a lot of people who kind of scratch their heads at you, but you know, just doing your own thing. You know, be you. So yeah.
Yeah, the way I see it is like if it helps anyone once, ever, then it's worth it.
Totally, yeah. I know exactly. And that's, you know, it's weird because it's weird to not get caught up in this, but you focus on like the followers, the likes, or everything, you know. And I mean, you totally do. It's really, I feel like it's honestly impossible to not get caught up in that unless you've really trained yourself.
I definitely look at how many views every single one of my YouTube videos has.
Oh yeah, and then you're like, fuck, like only X number this time, like you know.
You're telling me.
You gotta keep yourself, yeah.
So I put out these yoga teacher training videos, and normally if I put out a video, like one of my normal videos, it'll get like somewhere between 50 and 80 views.
Yeah.
Or maybe like 40 and 80 on the really low end. Mm-hmm. These get like maybe like 7 to 20.
Oh yeah.
Just because it's so constant and consistent, but my goal there is that if there's one person that's on the fence of doing yoga teacher training, that between the beginning and end of it, they'll see how much I change, and then they'll see what my life becomes after that, which I don't even know what it'll be.
Totally. Oh yeah, totally.
And so then it'll push someone over the edge, just like Gary pushed me over the edge.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, and at that point, it's just a matter of kind of scaling over the course of time, you know. And this is something that actually Andy, another guy we look at, Andy Frisella, something that he talks about enormously is not really the idea of actually even really necessarily even really having that much of a budget for advertising, but focusing on putting that money into and all that effort specifically into cultivating the perfect relationship, making it the best thing you possibly can, and creating the most value that you possibly can through the experience, and then having that person go and tell other people. So the person that gets such a kick out of what you did, now they can go and tell their friends, and that's one more, or two more, or however many happens to be, and it kind of just, it keeps going from there until there. This is the next kind of progression. I think Andy Lee calls it the rule of, was it 30, 60, 90? Over the course of the months, like the number of days is 30, 60, 90. You have one customer the first 30. Do such a good job, brings back another one. 60, now you have 2. 90 days, now you have 4 because they each went and told all their friends, That's how it grows.
And then 8, 16, 30.
Oh yeah, over the course of years, you're like shit. Like factorial.
No, it's actually not. That's actually the wrong math
exponential.
term. If you know your math, you know I fucked up. But if you don't, you think I'm smart.
I was like, I don't fucking know my math either, so like.
So, when did you start doing the power list? And when did you start getting into Andy? And when did you even start getting into podcasts?
So, literally, I never got into podcasts for, I haven't done it for such a long time, which now, of course, now you're like kicking yourself on, right? But yeah. I got into it, seriously, I got into it maybe late September, probably more like mid-October though. And it was more so along the lines of I found I was like, okay, I'm having all these meals alone, do I really want to just listen to music the whole time? Mm-hmm. I was like, you know what? What's this stuff? And I think how I found Andy, which was one of the first ones, I think there was the Steady Trade podcast, which was actually the first one I listened to, but it's kind of trash. Sorry guys. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just not where it needs to be. But in any case, from there I found the MFCEO project and Andy, and I found amazing stuff from that, and specifically the Power List, which is, if you guys are not doing it, listen to episode 107 of the MFCEO project.
Yeah, tell you what. Let's
so good.
Let's finish up on your kind of path, and then let's talk about the Power List.
Okay, which specifically what kind of my path you want to talk
about?
So
more than just when you start listening to podcasts, when did you start kind of taking charge of your own life?
It's the first time that happened was when I was about 15 years old. I think I had my first job as a lifeguard and I freaking hated it. It's just not where it is, I'm sorry, it's just not. So I realized at that moment, that summer, I was like, I want something more out of life. And I also grew up in it, when I was a little kid, we had some financial troubles. It was just the nature of, partially the economy and just some other stuff. So I kind of had it bred in me a little bit of just money is important and if you want to not die, basically. So, yeah. It's kind of important, right? And so 15 years old, I really that was my first job. And I was like, this is what $1 is worth. And do I really want to be earning my dollars by going and being a fucking lifeguard for 12 hours a day? Fuck no, right? And so that got me into the path of trading, which was something that I've actually stopped doing literally in the past 2 weeks. But it taught me so many great lessons, which are, honestly, there's so many of them, it'll be an entire another episode, podcast, whatever we want to call it. So, but that was really kind of the genesis of it. And then coming here, I think actually meeting you was a huge stepping stone in terms of me kind of realizing, okay, where am I going to take this? And here's an individual who's actually like me for once. What's the deal here? So I think it opened up some more pathways and increased the amount of curiosity, and I'm just trying to learn more and more every single day, and the path kind of changes by the day. So yeah, that's about where it is.
Cool. Yeah. So when did you start doing the Power List?
Power List about mid-October. When I found the MFCEO project, I think here were the first episodes I listened to. I think it was luck versus skill. I think was one of his
pretty
Thursday
late on now, because he's in what 200s or 180s or something.
Yeah, he's 210 or something close to it, I think.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I heard that one. I think that one was maybe 160, 170 was when I heard it, something like that. But in any case, that was the first one. And then they were talking about what are some of the best ones to listen to, and they said episode 107, Win the Day. I was like, oh well, if it's one of the best ones, I should listen to the guy who's telling me to go listen to his podcast.
Absolutely.
He's gonna know which one's the best, right? So I listened to that, and I was like, damn, that's a good fucking idea, Started doing that every day. I actually kind of misunderstood it for the first couple of weeks or months, because I would get it was weird because I get 4 done out of the 5, which is not a win, but I considered it a win. But it was funny because in my head I still considered it a loss. So I wrote down win on the paper, but I still knew in my head, I was like, fuck that. I got 4 out of 5. You couldn't even get a fucking 5, right? But so yeah, that was the Power List, and now it's even more important. It's integral. There's so many benefits to it. I can't imagine not doing it, frankly.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Actually, it's kind of funny. So I started doing a Power List about a year ago, right around when 107 came out. Was when I started doing it.
Wow,
yeah, because I heard it.
You got on that horse fast.
Yeah, but I was on and off the horse. So I I've been really consistent with it lately, kind of since you started doing it.
Yeah.
That's also one thing that's awesome. I think we're blessings for each other.
Oh, totally. You drive it more, you know?
Yeah. Well, what happened for you, like you said, is that you found someone like you. You know, we're driven individuals, but also self-reflective individuals.
Yeah, and, like, I think
that care
compassionate. I think it's such an important one because you get guys who are very focused on money, and you know that's where I started too, absolutely. But part of the journey that I've been on the past couple months, especially even the past couple weeks, even more so, has been really that realization of, you know, do I want to be rich? Yes, I want to be absolutely rich. No doubt about it, no question in my mind. But the focus to me is no longer the money. It's how can I make an impact on people? How can I help somebody be happier and just overall? How can I do the best that I can do? You know, and meeting you was a huge step towards that. Definitely, yeah, 100%.
And that right there, what he just said, that's what drives me. So it's
Fuck
all
yeah.
that's why people say you are who you surround yourself with. But anyways,
Yeah, totally, yeah.
But anyway, so I started getting back into the power list. Over the course of about a year, I did maybe 130, 140 days of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I was pretty on and off. Part of that was I was working a 9 to 5 over the summer.
Yeah.
And you can't really power list a 9 to 5 because there's just shit you have to do at work, and then it's already 5 o'clock when you're done.
You know, I think that, like, personally, I think there's some yes and there's some no there. And I think that where that comes from for me is, like, you kind of have to adapt it a little bit. You know, like, for me, like, some of my days are much busier than others. Like, my Tuesday, Thursday, especially my Tuesdays, are fucking slammed. As a result, when I had my old trading thing going, you know, I wake up at 5 in the morning because that was the time I had to wake up in order to execute on it, you know? And so I think that with the 9 to 5 is, like, you know, it's kind of, it's like, you gotta, maybe it's like, yeah, so you wake up at, I don't know, 5:30 or 6, and you bang out, you know, a couple things, and then you go to work, and you come home, and you finish off 1 or 2. So it's like, you know, I think it's, again, you kind of have to scale it back. Just, you know, maybe it's not,
When
you
do
know,
you,
read
when,
for an
when
hour,
should
read
you,
for 20 minutes.
when should you, oh, that's a good point. You should definitely, right, or like, your trading thing was like 5 hours or something.
Yeah, like, and I got pushed it up. It started out at, like, you know, 1 or 2 hours a day. I literally, at the peak of it, I was doing it for, like, literally, like, 5.5 to 6 hours a day. So, I mean, and it's kind of also where you want to go, but the important part is really just progress, you know? It's kind of, even if it's 5 hours, even if it's 1 hour, just moving forward, you know?
What are you doing with that time now?
With that time now, it's interesting. In a way, it's more difficult to fill because it's not as, like, rigidly in there where you're like, all right, between 11 and 2, I'm going to be parking my ass in front of a, you know, iPad and just staring at stocks for the next 3 hours, you know? Now it's more kind of, like, I'll even use that time for schoolwork if I have to, you know? But, or, you know, other stuff like Zen Bear Athletics, you know, whether it's stuff like that and I'm working on it, or even if it's just reading and executing on the rest of the power list. But I think actually this is a point I just want to sneak in real quick. That is, everyone thinks, you know, school is, like, I think if you get to a certain mindset, you're like, oh, school is worthless. No, it's not. And here's the reason why. Is even if you're never going to use what you actually learn in school, like, I don't particularly anticipate using much of my finance major in my actual future. I just don't, personally. But here's what it will help you with, is especially excellence is a huge one. So, like, if you're going to be like, all right, even though this essay really means nothing to me, the fact that you go out and you go as hard as you possibly can and you do it to the best of your ability, that builds that muscle more and more. So then we get to actually tough shit in the future when you're actually starting your own business. Then it comes in handy. You're like, okay, that's already there. You don't have to sit there and build it. It already exists. Yeah. So, yeah, I just want to say that point real quick.
That's a huge point for sure. I mean, I've definitely learned that, almost not even with that in mind at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, through my whole college career, I've thought that I'm 100% only going to do what it is that I'm studying.
Yeah.
And now I'm finding this balance and other things as well, and I'm still not 100% certain on where everything's going to go.
Totally, yeah. You never really are.
Yeah,
honestly.
You can't be.
Yeah.
But when I came to school my freshman year, the summer before freshman year, I started watching Elliot Holt's videos and working out and taking control of my own life. And then I was just really focused on discipline that year. Mm-hmm. And that was my only thing. Like, I went way over and beyond on all of my classes.
It's like developing the warrior, basically. I think, you know, and again, that's something else Elliot Holtz talks about. You got the warrior, the magician, the lover, and the king.
Yeah.
And kind of the first three lead to the fourth, effectively, is my understanding of it. The warrior is basically your ability to kick ass. Get out there and just, you know, grab your sword and get to work. Which for me was last semester and early part of this semester, where I was like that was the thing. You know, me waking up at 5:30 every single morning and just going ham for 16 hours a day, which that's literally what I did, you know. But also, did I have a social life? Not really, you know. So now the emphasis has shifted a little more. It's like I've developed that warrior enough And now I'm focusing on the magician and the lover, which is like the lover is your appreciation for what goes on around you and be just in the moment. The magician is like your skill set. That's my basic understanding after one Elliot Holt's video on the topic. So
I've seen that video.
I don't know if I got it. So
yeah, you did a pretty good job.
Yes,
definitely. If you haven't seen that video, you should go check it out.
Yeah.
But I've used that as kind of a metric to see how I'm doing in different areas of my life as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a great tool, especially because you can kind of tell where you're going wrong more easily if you just have some sort of framework to evaluate your life by.
Absolutely, and if you kind of put also, if you like, I think actually that's another benefit of the power list is kind of if you find a direction, you start pushing in that direction, you'll be able to kind of in a more methodical way, you'll be able to find out kind of what works and what doesn't work a lot faster and a lot better because instead of just kind of going like, okay, I'm just going to do this, that, and the other thing, you know, like these little tasks here and there when I'm thinking of it, now it's like you have a very, very methodical process for doing it.
Yeah.
And doing that process allows you to think, oh, you know, this particular task isn't helping me as much as I thought it would be. Time to cut it out, you know, or this one would be a lot more, you know, effective. Like stuff like that, you know, you kind of modulate, understand it.
Definitely. All right, gonna kind of pivot a bit.
Go for it.
You're fucking huge.
Yes.
So
Take this back. I'm gonna try and be humble about this one.
that was hilarious. I love that. It was sarcastic, but I want to ask, just because I'm interested. What do you eat? When do you eat? What's your nutrition like?
Yeah, sure. I love that pivot.
Yeah, right?
Complete. Okay, so my nutrition, it's kind of funny. I make a lot of jokes about it here and there just because it is. But also, so I get basic framework is I get 3 meals per day based on CU and basically being able to eat at the dining halls. I make
Which
that
is clutch.
It is, yeah. It's pretty clutch. Like I can't badmouth that much at all. A lot of people
Not
do, I don't know why.
ragging on you. If you can't have it, I'm sorry that you don't have that.
Yeah, true.
What we do.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just again, you work with the tools you're given. So, and for me, these are my tools, right? So for me, breakfast, you know, you go in and just I guess actually I should start with the framework. Really, I try to have high protein, try to have good fats, try to have as many possible carbs, frankly, as I possibly can that are good quality, and then I try to, you know, eat my greens and get like the nutrition that I need. And then kind of one other thing that's really important, if you're an ectomorph like I was, like really skinny, okay, the fact that I'm as large as I am is actually kind of amazing in that respect. Eat before bed. That is so damn important. I literally put on, I think it was close to like 20 pounds in 1 month when I started doing that. I literally had a PB&J and a protein shake before bed every night, and boom, like there's literally
one of my friends did that same thing when he started lifting during my sophomore year too. Same thing happened.
It
same
kicks in.
Food too, like a PB&J
and a
protein shake.
Again, it's good fats, you know, wheat bread, you know, good carbs, and I mean, jelly because you know we're not terrible people, so we're gonna try to enjoy life while we can, right?
Humans.
So, right, you gotta enjoy some sugar here and there, and then you know, but and do you want me to talk about like specific meals or kind of just you know?
Yeah, but one thing I wanted to say that just kind of popped in my head. So I'm in this accounting ethics class right now, and today one of the things we talked about was olive oil.
Yeah.
And dude, it turns out that almost literally 3/4, I think the number was 76% of olive oil in grocery stores is predominantly not olive oil.
Yeah, no, that's why you get like the cold press, like extra virgin.
Even still, no, it's just fake labeling because the suppliers just change it. It's literally just like different oils with colorings and flavoring.
The fuck? That's actually like.
Which fucks me because I'm sure that the bottles of olive oil at the C4C, I'm sure that those are cut ones. Yeah.
Dude, you're totally right. It's not like they're getting like, you know, organic 365 brand, you know. Like,
but they do have that at the little spice station.
Wait, they actually do?
They have it by this company called Spectrum Organics.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna start hitting that up from now on. I hit that today for lunch for the first time. And
people in the staff at C4C, how the fuck are we going through this so fast?
Yeah, if you haven't seen my salads on like my Snap or Gram or whatever,
oh my god.
It looks like this.
That's actually not far from the truth at all. Actually, though, I started doing this the past couple days, talking about mealing, like eating meals. So I have my breakfast in the morning, you know, 8 a.m., 8:30ish, and then I come back. Yeah, and then I come back at about noon for lunch, which I used to eat at 2 because of training, but now my schedule is actually like okay to enjoy life with. So you know, I'm starting to do that. So that's good. And then I come back at 5 o'clock to actually get a big ass salad, which is inspired by you, which is terrible to get through, frankly, but I do it anyway. And then while I'm at the C4C, grabbing the salad or during lunch, I grab like 2 chicken breasts and like as much brown rice as I can fit in a Yeti. You know, like the Yeti. It's not the Rambler, is it? I don't know. It's the tall
Tumbler.
one. Is it the Tumbler? Okay. In any case, that one, and then I have that like a PB&J and a protein shake at like 7 or 8 o'clock, and that's what I've been doing the past like 3 days because I think it really works well. But yeah,
I'm interested to see how that works for you.
Me too. Yeah, I mean, I know it's only been 3 days, you know, big whoop. But it kind of shift the meal around, and also especially when you're like getting towards plateaus and kind of figuring out like when I was in swim season, like you had to have your diet, like you had a lot more fats in that diet because you just need more energy to go through with it, you know. Plus you don't give a shit about physique at that point, so you know, that's that. Yeah.
All right. I think that was a pretty good Mogul talk.
Yeah, I'm thinking that was pretty good.
Yeah. So there's plenty more things I want to ask you. Like for instance, I wanted to talk more about swimming.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your workouts and generally stuff like that, and I just want to talk more about Powerlist, Gary. We didn't even really talk too much about Elliot Hulse. Yeah. And we didn't even talk about emotions either.
Dude, I can't think of any like end of the topics. Like we could just constantly keep coming up with them. So I think good first Mogul talk, and yeah, I'm thinking we got a lot ahead of us. So
yeah, that's what I can tell you.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for watching. Peace.
Definitely. Deuces, guys.